Paul waited 16 years to finally make it to the NBA Finals, but the quest for an NBA championship ended in 6 games with the all-star point guard losing out. CP3 has an opt-out option that can make him a free agent this offseason, leaving our very own Mark Spears to speculate. Will Chris Paul run it back with Phoenix with the Suns losing in the finals? The focus turns to the point guard's future. Can LeBron and Lakers be a threat for CP? Now, the Lakers can choose to sign CP3, or there's also been talks of Washington Wizards star Russell Westbrook being a potential candidate to move back home to Los Angeles. I think he's from Long Beach, in a sign-and-trade deal per Mark Spears. So my question to you, Perk, who should the Lakers target, Chris Paul or Russell Westbrook?
Well, you know what? With all due respect, Molly, to CP3, you got to go with the Brody. I'm going with Russell Westbrook. We're talking about a guy that is still in his prime. We're talking about a guy that's one of the most polarizing guys in this league. We saw what he did the second half of the season last season, putting up monster triple-doubles when the Wizards were 1,500 games down from being a 500 team. He carried that team and willed them to the playoffs. Now, it didn't go well because he didn't have the personnel, but you put the Brody back home. It takes pressure off LeBron James, who's getting up in age, going into year 19, and now you have Russell Westbrook, a guy that you could pair with Anthony Davis, a guy that's going to take pressure off of them, a guy that doesn't get enough credit for making others around him better. We're talking about a guy that led the league in assists for three times throughout his career. He led the league this year, right? Russell Westbrook is a guy that can also play off the ball. I know that he can't knock down shots like people want him to, but one thing Russell Westbrook is good at, very good at, is slashing to the basket. He's good at getting out in transition. So if I'm the Lakers, I would really consider targeting Russell Westbrook over CP3.
Perk, I know he the Brody, man, but sometimes he can't hit the ocean if he was in a boat, right? And what the Lakers need is spacing. Why do they need spacing? Because LeBron is a guy who likes to drive, and also he's going to be driving in transition to where Anthony Davis occupies that real estate. So I want somebody like CP3 that can come down and facilitate, that can take the pressure off, much like Rondo did a couple of seasons ago when they won the championship. It was Rondo's basketball acumen, his ability to get guys lined up in the right place. And I'm not saying that Russell can't do that, but every once in a while, when they're sloughing off and they're trying to double Davis or double LeBron when he decides he's going to block, I want somebody that can be confident, can knock down the three and not start a fast break on the other end, man, because he's building bricks with his house.
Well, look, first of all, boy, look, let me tell you this. All right, see, people get caught up in the moment, and people tend to forget that Russell Westbrook is a guy that has been to the NBA Finals. Russell Westbrook is a guy that has been to multiple conference finals. Russell Westbrook is battle-tested. Russell Westbrook knows what it takes. I played with Russell Westbrook. I watched him elevate in those moments. Hell, I even watched him give CP3 that work and beat him when he was going against the Los Angeles Clippers. So look, we all know that the Brody, his weakness is what? Shooting the mid-range, and we said that about Giannis. His weakness is what? Shooting the jump shot, shooting the free throws. But guess what? Giannis proved us all wrong. And when you have that Mamba mentality, which Kobe Bryant only blessed a few with, Giannis was one, Russell Westbrook was another. He blessed them with that because they will to win and not to stop competing, no matter what the circumstances are.
No, I appreciate that. And listen, you can't go wrong with either one. I think either one that they can ship Kuzma off somewhere, I think is a plus, right? But I think that Chris Paul just gives them a little bit more what they need, a floor general, somebody that can understand the temperature of the game, know when to be aggressive, know how to get in the lane, but also know how to do the little things. And, we're splitting hairs when we're talking about them. Just for my preference, I think the difference is the fact that I have a little bit more faith in CP3 and being able to hit open shots and spread the court and open everything up. Because the Lakers, when they lost Danny Green, they lost shooters, right? They lost the ability to spread the court, and everybody can pack the defense in. And LeBron is streaky at times as well. So when he's not out there, that gives you another floor general that can get them in their proper sets.
Berg, let me ask you this. I know the Lakers did try to get CP3 before. If you're Chris Paul, what would you want to do? Would you stay in Phoenix, or want to go to LA with LeBron?
Well, if I'm CP3, I want to go to L.A. Molly, I'm about to turn 37, right? CP3 is about to turn 37, And we all know he wants to top off his career with winning the championship. And you have to put yourself in the best position possible to do that. What is that? Go and team up with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, especially the way that the West is looking right now. The West is wide open. You have Klay Thompson coming back for the Golden State Warriors, but he's coming off an ACL injury and an Achilles tear. I'm not saying he's not going to be Klay. You look at the Utah Jazz. We saw what happened to them this season. The Clippers sent them home, and Kawhi got hurt in the middle of the series. We look at the Los Angeles Clippers. I don't expect Kawhi to be back. So if I'm CP3, I'm looking at it and I'm like, LeBron James is going to come back healthy. We know that. We know Anthony Davis is going to come back on a mission. We know that he didn't like how he finished the season off. And when we look at what they done in the bubble, if you're CP3, you like, you know what? I don't need to be a first option guy. I don't need to be a second option guy, but I can be a third option guy, a guy that could come in with the second unit and control the offense and get mine off. But when need be, I could attack. But when I'm on the floor with Anthony Davis and LeBron James, I could be that third option guy and take some pressure off myself.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.